How was it to put that suit back on for you? Must have been a cool feeling.
Amazing, surreal. You know, I had a great opportunity the first time with Superman Returns, and
Sometimes Hollywood is about that one big break. An actor gets the perfect role, shines on the big screen, and becomes a household name. But sometimes that very role becomes a curse. One performance, whether it was poorly received, badly timed, or simply too iconic, can overshadow an entire career, leaving an actor stuck, typecast, or even ridiculed. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and tragic stories of actors who let one role ruin their entire career. From blockbuster missteps to career-killing stereotypes, these tales remind us just how brutal Hollywood can be. 1. Macaulay Culkin, forever the Home Alone kid. When you think of child stars, Macaulay Culkin instantly comes to mind. In the early 1990s, he was the biggest kid in Hollywood. Home Alone and its sequel turned him into a superstar practically overnight. Kevin McAllister became iconic, the cheeky kid who outsmarted burglars with booby traps. But success at such a young age came with a price. Instead of being seen as a versatile actor, Culkin was forever remembered as the Home Alone kid. His attempts to branch out into other films, like The Good Son and Richie Rich, failed to capture the same magic. Critics weren't kind, and audiences struggled to accept him in mature roles. By the time he hit his teenage years, Hollywood had moved on. Culkin later admitted he stepped away from acting because he was burned out and trapped by his child star image. While he's made small comebacks in recent years, that one role cemented his legacy, but also limited his career trajectory. 2. Brandon Routh, Superman Returns to Nowhere. Imagine landing one of the most coveted roles in Hollywood, Superman. That's exactly what happened to Brandon Routh in 2006 when he was cast as the Man of Steel in Superman Returns. The film had massive hype, with Warner Brothers hoping to revive the franchise. But despite decent reviews, the movie underperformed at the box office. Routh's portrayal was criticized for being too stiff, too much like a Christopher Reeve imitation, and lacking originality. Unfortunately, the role was supposed to make him a star, but instead it boxed him in. After Superman Returns, Routh struggled to secure leading roles. Hollywood didn't see him as bankable anymore, and he was quietly sidelined. While he found some redemption in television, including Legends of Tomorrow, his career never soared the way people expected. Superman was meant to be his career maker. It became his career killer. 3. Elizabeth Berkley, from Saved by the Bell to Showgirl's infamy. Elizabeth Berkley was America's sweetheart as Jessie Spano in the hit teen sitcom Saved by the Bell. But when the show ended, Berkley wanted to break free from her good girl image. That's when she took the lead role in Paul Verhoeven's Showgirls 1995. Billed as a bold, edgy drama about ambition and survival in Las Vegas, the film quickly turned into one of Hollywood's most infamous box office bombs. Critics shredded it, audiences mocked it, and Berkley was at the center of the storm. Instead of being seen as a daring actress willing to take risks, she was labeled as a poor performer. Casting directors avoided her, and the industry all but blacklisted her. While Berkley has since spoken openly about how devastating the experience was, she never fully recovered in Hollywood. Sometimes one role isn't just a flop, it's a professional scar. 4. Mike Myers, the Cat in the Hat disaster. Mike Myers was a comedy legend. From Saturday Night Live to Wayne's World and the massively successful Austin Powers franchise, he was untouchable. But then came The Cat in the Hat, 2003. The live-action adaptation of Dr. Seuss's beloved children's book was supposed to be another family hit, but instead it became a critical disaster. Myers' over-the-top performance, creepy costume, and bizarre humor made audiences uncomfortable. Critics slammed it as unfunny and disturbing. The backlash was so bad that Dr. Seuss's widow banned any future live-action adaptations of his books. Worse, Myers' career momentum evaporated.
And we didn't think that anybody would go see it, and it was an unbelievable.
5. Taylor Lautner, Twilight's werewolf trap. During the late 2000s, Twilight was a cultural phenomenon, and Taylor Lautner, who played Jacob Black, became a teenage heartthrob overnight. His muscular physique and brooding stare, made him a fan favorite. But the problem? He was so strongly tied to the Twilight franchise that audiences couldn't see him as anything else. When he tried branching out into action films like Abduction, 2011, the results were disastrous. The movie flopped, critics ripped his acting apart, and Hollywood stopped calling. Unlike Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart, who successfully reinvented themselves, Lautner got stuck in the shadow of Jacob Black.
It was pretty seamless. Like, everybody, friends and family warned us. They were like, just be prepared.
6. Halle Berry, Catwoman's 9 lives ended at one holla. Berry was at the top of her game in the early 2000s. She'd won an Oscar for Monsters Ball and starred in hits like Die Another Day in the X-Men series. But then came Catwoman, 2004. The film was supposed to be a feminist superhero blockbuster. Instead, it became one of the most ridiculed movies of the decade. Berry's performance was mocked, the script was torn apart, and the movie won multiple Razzie Awards. To her credit, Berry showed up to accept her Razzie in person, poking fun at herself. But the damage was done. Although she's continued working, she never regained that same Oscar-winning momentum. Catwoman became a permanent stain on her resume.
I got a whole list of stuff that I will not miss. I have to take. I'm religious about it. I have studied.
7. Jake Lloyd, the burden of young Anakin Skywalker. In 1999, the world was buzzing about Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, and at the center of the hype was Jake Lloyd, a child actor cast as the young Anakin Skywalker. This was supposed to be a dream role. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. Fans and critics hated his performance, labeling it wooden and annoying. But what people often forget is, he was just a kid reading George Lucas's clunky dialogue. Still, the backlash was brutal. Lloyd was bullied in school, harassed by his Star Wars fans, and eventually quit acting altogether. That one role not only ended his career, but also impacted his mental health for years to come. 8. Geena Davis, Cutthroat Island, sinks her career. Geena Davis was one of Hollywood's biggest stars in the late 1980s and early 1990s. With films like Thelma and Louise and A League of Their Own, she was a powerhouse. But then she starred in Cutthroat Island, 1995, a pirate adventure film that became one of the biggest box office bombs in history. The movie's failure was so catastrophic, it bankrupted its studio, Coralco Pictures. Davis, who played the swashbuckling lead, was suddenly seen as box office poison. While she did some work afterward, her leading lady career never fully recovered. Cutthroat Island was one role that dragged her career straight down to the bottom of the ocean. 9. Shaquille O'Neal, steel crumbles under the weight. Shaquille O'Neal may be a basketball legend, but in the 1990s he also tried his hand at acting. The most infamous attempt? Steel, 1997, a superhero movie where Shaq donned a clunky metal suit to fight crime. The film was a disaster. Poor special effects, weak acting, and laughable dialogue turned it into an unintentional comedy. Critics shredded it, and audiences stayed away. After Steel, Shaq's acting career was essentially over, aside from a few cameos. One role was enough to prove that while he was unstoppable on the court, Hollywood was a whole different game. 10. John Travolta, Battlefield Earth. The final blow John Travolta's career is one of Hollywood's most fascinating roller coasters. After skyrocketing in the 1970s with Saturday Night Fever in Greece, his career slowed down until Pulp Fiction reignited his stardom in the 1990s. But then came Battlefield Earth, 2000. Travolta, a devoted Scientologist, pushed hard to bring L. Ron Hubbard's sci-fi novel to the screen. The result was one of the most infamous box office bombs of all time. Critics called it confusing, ugly, and unintentionally hilarious. Travolta's performance was ridiculed, and his credibility took a massive hit. While he's worked since, he never regained his A-list standing. Battlefield Earth turned from his passion project into a career-ending disaster. Hollywood can be brutal. One role can skyrocket an actor to unimaginable fame, while another can sink them into obscurity. From child stars trapped by typecasting to big names undone by box office bombs, These stories prove that sometimes success in show business is as fragile as the flicker of a film reel. So the next time you watch a blockbuster, remember, behind every performance is an actor gambling their entire career on just one role.